have
Coach,
at it.
I'm just wondering if, before the season started, did you have an idea maybe where you wanted this team to be heading into Big 12 play? And are they there?
I don't know that we're there where I'd like for us to be at all, but I do think we've gotten a lot better, since the season started, and certainly in the month of December, I think we got better. I hope that the layoff didn't set us back a little bit, but, I like where we're at as of December 30th, but where we're at as of December 30th isn't good enough to finish in the top half of the league, so we gotta get a lot better in a lot of areas.
And obviously Oklahoma State Saturday, just thoughts on where they're at and what you expect Saturday.
Well, well, obviously, they're probably maybe the best, them in Tennessee, the two best defensive teams we played against this year. I think, Kim Palm has them sixth nationally, I think, in defensive efficiency, something like that. And they have shot blockers that we haven't really gone against this year, with the exception of one guy, Trace, but Cece has a chance to do something that only a couple of big men have done in the last, 3 or 4 decades, as far as points, rebounds, and block shots, if I'm not mistaken. So, and Boone's a much better defender and shot blocker. So, and they pressure, they're quick, so they're very good defensively and sprinkle in some zone. And so we're gonna have to be ready for that. And then we got to defend 2 big guys, and we haven't had to do that much this year.
Over the years, and especially tomorrow, when you look at that first Big 12 game, is there something you look for specifically from your team that'll tell you, hey, yeah, we are ready for this, or we're maybe not, like you just said, quite there yet?
I haven't thought it through like that.
Sure.
We're just trying to, educate our guys that the intensity is gonna be ratcheted up a few notches. It always is when you get to league play. Let them know that the first season has very little relevance in the big scheme of things when you talk about successful seasons. The second season and third season is obviously more important, even though the first season puts you in a position to have great seasons. And basically up until this point, it matters, but it doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things. Nobody's gonna look back at a season and say, well, we were good in the non-conference. No, nobody. They're gonna look back and how you did postseason, how you did it within your league. And so, we try to educate our guys on that and let them know that the intensity level will be different.
You mentioned the layoff. You had layoffs, right, between Missouri,
Yeah.
between Indiana. Do you think that'll maybe help your guys be ready to handle the layoff that you had for this one?
Yeah, maybe, but we've always had layoffs
Right.
this time of year. Everybody's got a 9-day layoff right now from last time they played to the next time in our league. I think Oklahoma State's had 1 extra day than us. I'm glad we had the Harvard game, to be honest with you, to be able to play, 2 games in 4 days or whatever, 5 days, I think was good for us, so.
Understanding Kyle's still out for a bit, how do you feel about the health of this team going into conference play?
Pretty good. Everybody's practicing with the exception of Kyle. So, I feel, that can turn on a dime, but I think from a health standpoint, I'd have to believe that we're probably as healthy as we could possibly would be, knowing that, Kyle obviously wasn't going to come back.
Dave averaged over 14 and 13 in the 2 matchups with Oklahoma State last year. What are the biggest differences playing without maybe that back to the basket score inside against CSA?
Well, first of all, Dave had good games, both games last year. He's always played good against Oklahoma State, it seems like to me. But it's we ran some bad offense last year, threw it to Dave, and he made an 8-footer over length, which isn't probably a high percentage shot. So we got to do some things to move him around and get him out from under the basket, and hopefully we'll be able to do that. But it's definitely we don't try to play that much different than we did last year from a tactical standpoint. We just don't throw it inside near as much. I mean, it's not like everything else is different. It's just we just don't have that. So we've got to try to move guys around, primarily that 5 spot, in a way that maybe get the big guy away from the basket.
you mentioned how much the team improved in the month of December. Where do you feel like the biggest areas of growth were?
I thought defensively we got better. And we're not very good yet defensively like we could be, you know, watching us every day. But I think we got better defensively. And I also think for the most part, our ball and body movement offensively has been pretty good. And we you know, we share, we don't always play great, but we do share the ball. You know, and the ball does move, and when the ball moves, we're a lot harder to guard.
You know, last year's wings were as good as there was in college basketball, and you know, some of the best we've ever seen here. You lose two of them, and lo and behold, look what you have this season. Just talk about, you know, replacing two of those guys, and I'm not suggesting they're better, but they're sure playing well.
Yeah, we're not better,
Yeah.
okay, but we're better at the same age as those guys were. Jalen Wilson is a lot better player than he was last year. Juan's a much better guard than he was last year. And, you know, it's hard to say that you're better if you're replacing a lottery pick and a guy that went 21. I mean, we're not, but those guys were older. They had 7 years of college experience, and Grady at 1 year is far surpassed what they have done in their first year of school. Not even close. Even though those guys got so much better. And Kevin, to me, guys, is grown on me as being a guy that's about as complete a guard as we've had here in a while. When you talk about defense, rebounding, understanding the game, feel, covering for mistakes, all those things, he's been pretty darn impressive. But he doesn't score the ball, you know, the same way that Oates did or CB could if he got on a roll. But I've been really pleased with them. So our wings are good. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Our backcourt are good, are good players. But I can't say better than obviously what we played with last year. But because those guys, you know, brought home the bacon. But these guys are probably a little bit further along than what I thought they would be at this time.
Kevin, Brandon Rush, good as far as a complete player?
Brandon Rush was a lottery pick. And so much of being a pro is, do you have an NBA skill? Well, Brandon Rush's NBA skill was he could shoot it. Kevin's NBA skill is that his shot has gotten a lot better and he's a lot more confident, is that he's a jack of all trades. So they're totally different. Totally different. But as far as impacting us winning, I think they're pretty comparable.
You've had great success winning league. What is the key to the marathon season, surviving it and winning it? What are the goals and secrets to doing it?
Oh yeah. Have really good players and make more than you miss. And you know, there's a lot of things. Staying healthy. You know, you got to hold serve at home. I mean, this is called like it is. It's teams that win the league. They may lose at home, but they don't lose often. And I know in the years that we've won it, we've been pretty successful, you know, at home, even though we have lost. There's no doubt about that. But you know, if you look at it, you know, you hold serve at home and you know, go split or maybe do a little bit better than split on the road, you're right there in the mix. So that would be a formula that I think that most coaches would go to the house with.
Coach, could I ask just for some atmosphere for football coverage? Were you, did you watch the game with family, friends? Did you have a watch party or anything? Just comment, you know, even as a sports fan watching that comeback late in the game, or did you watch it as a sports fan or as a coach watching what they're able to do to put together? Some comments on the game.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
I didn't see one play. I was recruiting. So I didn't get a chance to see one play. I got reports on my phone. I was in a gymnasium, got reports on my phone, and of course I had text threads going, you know, people kind of commenting on some things that was going on. But yeah, it was, you know, you know, I actually told Lance this after the game. I said, you know, you should be proud, and I know he is, because the Jayhawk Nation is proud. I mean, there were a lot of positives that happened this year, including the ending. Because what the ending showed is that there's fight in our program. What it showed is that, hey, no matter what, we'll compete. That's what it showed, at least from an outsider reading and studying it after the fact without actually seeing the game, except for some key plays, you know, on replay. That's what it showed, and I think those things definitely provide a foundation for momentum moving forward as much as anything else. You know, it's I don't know that anybody's really talking about the actual outcome as they are how good the game was. And I think that's a pretty good way to go into an off season. So I think with that being said, yeah, the players and coaches deserve a lot of credit for a job well done, without question.
Anything else for Coach?